You're scared of silence, not because it's peaceful, because it's loud. The second you stop moving, stop scrolling, stop playing music, stop filling every gap, something speaks up, and it doesn't say nice things. Most people will never sit with that. They'll put on a podcast, queue up a playlist, find something, anything to fill the space. They'll call it productivity. They'll call it self-improvement. But here's what it actually is. It's running. And here's why the people who stop running become the most dangerous people in the room. That's where we're going today. There's a prosecutor living in your head. He doesn't sleep. He doesn't take weekends. He just waits. The moment you go quiet, he opens the file. That thing you said 2 years ago, that call you never made, that version of yourself you promised you'd become. He reads every charge, slowly. And most of us, we can't handle the trial, so we drown him out. We shove earbuds in and call it listening to something educational. We drive in silence for exactly 0 seconds before the radio goes on. We fall asleep to YouTube because we can't let the room go quiet. The noise isn't entertainment, it's a verdict we're trying to avoid. Here's the thing nobody tells you. That prosecutor, he doesn't get stronger in the silence. He gets louder because you keep making him chase you. Every time you run, you're telling him he's right. You're handing him evidence. You're building his case. True discipline, real discipline, isn't waking up at 5 a.m. It isn't cold showers. It isn't a morning routine some billionaire sold you in a $997 $7 course. True discipline is sitting in that courtroom, letting him talk, and not flinching. Because here's what happens when you stop running. The prosecutor gets tired, he runs out of material, and then for the first time in maybe years the room goes quiet. Not the fake quiet of noise-canceling headphones, the real kind. The kind that actually belongs to you. But silence doesn't just expose your past. In the right hands, it becomes a weapon. And that's where this gets interesting. Most people think silence is passive. They think it means you've got nothing to say. They're wrong. Silence is pressure. In any room, a negotiation, a confrontation, a first date, a job interview, the person who speaks first is almost always the one who needs something. They need approval. They need validation. They need the discomfort to end. They give themselves away. The person who can just sit there, they own the room. Not because they're calm, because they're watching. There's a book called Ender's Game. The main character, Ender, beats every simulation not by being the fastest or the strongest. He wins by reading the room before anyone else does. He understands that observation is dominance, information is leverage, and most people are so uncomfortable with silence that they give you everything you need for free if you just shut up long enough to receive it. Think about the last time someone went quiet on you mid-conversation. What happened? You filled the gap. You talked more. You explained yourself. You probably revealed something you didn't plan to. And they just listened. They did nothing. And it worked. This isn't a manipulation trick. It's more fundamental than that. Silence forces the other person to project. Whatever they're afraid of, whatever they're assuming, they start seeing it in you. You become a mirror, and they can't stop looking. But here's the uncomfortable part of this. To use silence as a weapon, you first have to be okay being in it, and most people aren't. Because silence doesn't just expose other people, it exposes you, which brings us to the part of this conversation that the self-help industry will absolutely never sell you because it would put them out of business. Every Stoic book, every mindfulness app, every meditation influencer with a linen shirt and a ring light, they all tell you the same thing. Control your thoughts. That's the pitch. That's the product. Master your mind, and you master your life. Here's the real thing. You can't. You cannot control your thoughts. Silence proves it. You sit down, you try to go quiet, and within seconds your brain is 3 states away, replaying a fight you had in 2019, drafting an argument for a conversation that hasn't happened yet, imagining scenarios that will never occur. Your mind is feral. It doesn't respond to commands. It doesn't care about your goals. It has its own schedule and its own obsessions, and it will share them with you whether you asked or not. And here's what the self-help industry gets completely wrong. They frame this as a problem to fix. They sell you the idea that the goal is a quiet, obedient mind. That discipline means thought control. That's not discipline. That's delusion. The real insight, the one that actually changes things, is this: you are not your thoughts. You are the thing that notices them. Think about it like this. Your mind is a wild animal, unpredictable, loud, running wherever it wants. Most people believe they're supposed to be the trainer whipping the animal into submission. That's exhausting, and it doesn't work. But what if you're not the trainer? What if you're the cage? The animal can pace. It can snarl. It can throw itself at the walls. It's still in the cage. You don't have to stop the thought. You just don't have to follow it. That's the shift. That's what silence actually teaches you. Not peace, not control. Distance. The gap between stimulus and reaction. That gap, that's where you actually live. But there's one more thing silence shows you, and it's the one most people are most afraid of. Because it's not in the past, it's not in the present, it's everything you never became. When you go quiet, I mean really quiet, you start to see them. The ghosts. Not horror movie ghosts. Worse. The versions of yourself you killed. The person you said you'd be by 30. The business you were going to start. The relationship you were going to fix. The body you were going to build. The conversation you were going to have. Silence is a cemetery. And when you stop running long enough, you find yourself walking through it, reading the headstones. Everyone has your name on it. This is why people stay busy. Not because they love being busy, because the alternative is a graveyard visit they never scheduled. Hustle culture didn't come from ambition. It came from grief, from a collective, unspoken deal we all made with ourselves. Move fast enough, and you never have to feel how much you've left behind. But here's what nobody mentions about visiting a cemetery. The dead don't haunt you because they hate you. They haunt you because you loved them, and part of you still does. That grief isn't a sign of failure. It's information. It's telling you something still matters. Something still has a pulse. The person who can sit in that museum, walk through it, look at every face, and not fall apart, that person is dangerous. Not because they don't care about what they lost, because they do care, and they're still standing. They've done the one thing most people never will. They showed up to their own reckoning. They sat in the courtroom. They walked through the cemetery. They stayed in the silence until it stopped screaming, and then they moved. Not because they fixed everything, not because they made peace with every ghost, but because they stopped running. And when you stop running, you finally get to choose a direction. You've been carrying noise like armor. I get it, but armor gets heavy, and at some point you have to put it down. Not forever, not all at once, just long enough to hear what's actually underneath it. That's your homework, not meditation, not journaling, not a routine. Just 10 minutes, no phone, no music, no podcast. Sit with whatever comes up. Don't fight it. Don't fix it. Just stay and notice what the silence is trying to tell you. Drop a comment with one word. Whatever came up when you last sat in silence. Just one word. I want to see what's in the room.